G'day guys, welcome to this Journey Van Builds vlog following Mel's Toyota Hiace van conversion.
In today's episode we're gonna talk about the carpentry we did in my van. Basically everything about the storage, the bed and the kitchen.
Yep, so as you can see we have the finished van behind us here and Mel is actually already on the road, so we're quickly trying to get this filmed before she takes off on a trip to Western Australia. So you may notice that it's going to get dark while we're filming, but we've just got to get this done. Before we could begin the carpentry, we had to know all of the dimensions as well as the layout to make sure that we could fit in all of the things that were important to Mel.
Yeah, so for example I wanted to have a surfboard inside the van, really fast accessible and not having it stored on top of the van, because that's just way too complicated to get it down every time. And since this is a surf trip, I'm planning on using it every day, twice hopefully. Another point was to have a desk area where I could work on my laptop if needed, or also like just have a dinner or lunch inside in case it's raining.
Other than that, because Mel is in a standard Hiace here without the high roof or the super long wheelbase, you're pretty limited with the options as soon as you want to have a surfboard all the way under the bed. So this was the natural layout to choose, I think. And in the end, we were able to kind of look at my van layout and decide that that ticked all of the boxes. So we were able to use that as a kind of blueprint, which was, of course, really helpful.
Yeah, and saved us a lot of time.
So when it came time to start building all of the cabinetry, the materials that we used was a couple of different thicknesses of marine plywood, mostly 8 and 12 millimeters thick, other than a thicker plywood for the bed base. We used MDF boards for most of our finished panels, cupboard doors and drawer fronts, and we used Tassie oak hardwood for bench tops and some trim as well.
Yeah, so basically in this van there are almost no straight edges, so we had to measure everything and do lots of trimming afterwards, but that meant that we used the space we had perfectly, but it was just a lot of work to build.
Yeah, so measuring everything 3 times and then still having to go back and trim it another 4 times basically.
Yeah.
So starting in the kitchen, we had a few key measurements that we had to design around, including space for the gas cooker on the slide out kitchen area. We had a 52 litre upright fridge that we knew we needed to allow for, as well as a 38 litre water tank and the electrical system tucked in the back corner there. Other than those kind of key functional items, there were a few other features that finished the kitchen off.
Yeah, so I wanted to have a nice sink with a big tap, so it was actually practical to use, as well as a splash bag for the water that it doesn't hit the wall. So we used like those stick-on tiles, which also gives the van a bit of color, because the rest is pretty much beige and white. Mm-hmm. And I also thought that strip lights underneath the kitchen bench would look pretty, and so I wanted to have that as well, and I really love how it turned out.
When we say custom, the kitchen cabinetry was absolutely no exception. To start that build, I built the cabinet where the slide-out kitchen was going to be and literally just added on pieces as we went, moving into each area. Rather than pre-building any of the cabinet and sliding it in, it was more like Lego, just adding pieces as we went to make sure it could fit each area perfectly. From there, we moved on to the desk storage area, which unfortunately was no less of a custom build.
Even more, like all the different angles of the walls basically. It was so hard to get right, and it was a nightmare.
Yeah, so I actually, after we put all of our sort of 4 main walls up for that cabinetry, went in like a week later and had to change them all because I realized I had gone to level rather than square with the van, and I decided to be square with the floor was a better option because the van itself is never going to be level. So that was something that really messed me up actually, and I had to fix everything. So for the desk storage area, it also had a couple of restrictions that we had to prioritize around. Firstly being that the desk was there, so that had to be central and sort of the right height and depth to fit with the bed as a proper functional desk, as well as the front rail across the front of the storage area, which has to be there to support the slide out bed to take all of that weight so that the bed slats, aren't going to be overloaded at night.
Okay, we quickly had to move inside. We were getting attacked by mossies, and also it was way too dark now. So let's continue inside.
Yep. Here we are at the desk area.
Yeah, of course I wanted to have some cupboards for all my clothes to store and some little drawers for all my small things. And to make the whole cupboard look pretty, I decided to get some rattan for a few fronts and also some strip lights for underneath the rail in the front to light up the floor a bit.
Finally, the bed, which is arguably the most important piece of cabinetry in the whole build, was the easiest to put together. For materials, we used a thick plywood for the bed box and then used a premium pine to create the frames which would slide in and out as well to make the bed convertible. We use IKEA bed slats, which have the slight arch in them and the correct amount of give to try to give the mattress a bit of a homely feel, just like you're in a bed at home. For the dimensions, the bed box itself is 185 centimeters long and 60 centimeters wide. Then the slide out section is another 50 centimeters wide, and the storage section behind the bed is roughly 20 centimeters as well.
Yeah, so as Jack just mentioned, the storage behind the bed is super practical for all the bedding you have and also some bits and pieces which you don't need on a daily basis. And also the two sliding parts for the bed are handy to have them separate, because then you can, for example, make like a L shape to sit around the table or just to have another option of seating. The larger section of the bed can also be lifted up to give you better access for the storage underneath the bed.
Like I said, the design for the bed box is relatively simple and it's really, really practical actually. At the moment, I don't have a video up explaining how exactly I build this one. But maybe leave a comment and put some pressure on and I'll get one out for you as soon as I can. So once the carpentry of the bed build was finished, there was still one really important step left, which was to build, or I guess create or sew the mattress.
Yeah, so for the mattress, I basically just ordered a high density foam double bed mattress online and we cut it up in the right length. For the cover of the mattresses, you can get them custom made with the perfect size for what you need, but it's definitely cheaper to just make them yourself and get exactly the fabric you want. And yeah, follow those YouTube videos. They are really easy to follow. Like even Jake, who never had a sewed before, he was able to do it himself. So it's really easy.
It is, it's true. Alrighty guys, that's it for cabinetry. We're obviously sitting in the end product here and it's all just come together really, really nice. So for the next vlog entry, it will be the last vlog. We're basically going to sit down and discuss the entire experience, Mel's thoughts on coming to Australia and building this van with me, the excitement for the trip ahead, and just how the whole build went in general, which is going to be a really nice vlog. I think we've got quite a lot to talk about. It took 3 months to build the whole thing. So yeah, that'll be a nice finishing touch, I think. But yeah, for this cabinetry build, that's it. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.